we realized in talking in our war stories and so forth, him and I served in the same battalion in the 25th Infantry Division, but we were 6 years apart, but we definitely shared the same dirt. So thank you for your service. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and students. Thank you for being here today. First and foremost, I want to begin today by recognizing those among us who have been part of the great brotherhood and sisterhood we call the United States military, our veterans, active duty service member, guardsmen, and reservists. It is your service and sacrifice that has kept our country safe and free. I read a story once that said the hardships of life form our true character. The Americans that lived through the Great Depression and World War II overcame the daily challenges of the unknowns and then contributed to building America as we know it, and for that reason, they are called the greatest generation. Our men and women of the greatest generation grew up in a time when the world was experiencing great shifts in power across the globe. Men enlisted to defend and fight for our country, and women rose to the occasion to support our country and their families by working in factories. They were ordinary people until they heard the call of duty and answered it. They left their families, their homes, and their lives not for recognition or fame or even the honor we bestow upon them today. They worked and fought to survive. They worked and fought with a purpose. They worked and fought because they were Americans. They fought and sacrificed to protect our country, to maintain our way of life. We call them the greatest generation because they believed that they were stronger together and that our differences could not divide us. All they wanted was to make our country a better place to live. They accepted personal responsibility rather than blame someone else. They were humble and respectful without being pretentious. And they believed in commitment and self-sacrifice for the greater good rather than being selfish. Approximately 16 million Americans served in World War II, and today, according to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, only 167,000 are alive today. 8,000 live in Texas, and 6 of them are here today. Thank you. In total, there are 19 million U.S. veterans today, which represents less than 10% of the U.S. adult population. To my fellow brothers and sisters in arms, we are truly a minority. Winston Churchill once said, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." For all those veterans here today, thank you for your honorable service and your sacrifice. In his inaugural address, President John F. Kennedy stated, "Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and success of our liberty." Whether you were volunteered or voluntold, serving our country was not a job, it was a responsibility. For many veterans, they remain the quiet heroes of our country. In most cases, they served under difficult conditions when it required great personal sacrifice, and sometimes for purposes both ill-defined and domestically unpopular. They served, they did their time, they came back home, and continued to their life where they once left off. On this day, let us never forget those who answered the call. The veterans we know as comrade in arms, friends, neighbors, relatives, and colleagues. I saw a sign once that said, "If you can't stand behind our troops, feel free to stand in front of them." Please remember that Veterans Day provides us an opportunity to acknowledge the men and women that have worn a uniform and contributed to our national security and warfighting capability throughout our nation's history. Let us celebrate those who have and continue to serve our nation, to demonstrate the appreciation we have for our military, and to inspire future generations to dedicate themselves in the name of many who came before them. Thank you all once again for being here today to honor our veterans for their patriotism, love of their country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. May God bless you, God bless our veterans, and may God bless the United States of America. It is an honor to even mention the names of the people that are standing before me. First, Robert De La Garza, U.S. Navy, October 13th, 1944 to June 18th, 1946, deployed in the Pacific. Harrison, I hope I say your name right, Harrison Udi, U.S. Army, also a Korean War veteran, 1944 to 1950. Deployed to France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. Guadalupe Garza, U.S. Army, served 1 year and 10 months, deployed to Rhineland and Central Europe. George Gamboa, Army Air Force, 1945-1947, deployed to Germany and France. Israel Rodriguez, Army Air Force, 1945-1947, deployed to Okinawa. Alvino Bazan Jr., U.S. Navy, December 1942, December 1945, Saipan. We had two more scheduled to be here, but unfortunately couldn't make it, but I would like to recognize them. Savas Sandoval, U.S. Army, December 14th, 1942, December 12th, 1945, deployed to the Aleutian Islands. Pablo Mercedes Peña Jr., U.S. Army, 1944 to 1946. Gentlemen, it was an honor to say your name. Thank you so much for your service.